Why not another professional sports franchise in Austin? Why not 2 more professional franchises in Austin? Why not 3, for that matter? Major League Baseball wants to expand, and then the question is Austin on the radar? And the answer is yes, of course. There's nothing we're not on the radar for. So yes, would another professional franchise succeed in Austin? And the answer is yes. If you are counting money, absolutely yes. Austin has had mostly a mediocre MLS franchise, and for most of its existence, it's been average at best. And in 4 years, it went from a $100 million franchise to a franchise worth more than $800 million. So yes, a pro franchise will succeed here financially. There are very few cities that can match Austin in spending. And if surely you get that, right? You have to understand that. Now, there's a catch to all this. There's a few different ways to look at that. And yeah, it's an issue. This is very much an issue, and I think it's going to happen. But I'm not going to say nobody. There are very few markets that you could find that could match the spending here. I give you an Austin FC game, and the shirts fly off the shelves. It's just the demographics are exactly what you would want. Remember, when you're looking at a pro sports business, all you're looking for is entertainment dollars. You're not talking about, do they love the team, blah, 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 that stuff. You're talking about entertainment dollars first. Do people have the money to spend, and will they do it? And the answer, obviously, so far has been absolutely yes. So all that is done is just make Austin a much more attractive place for a professional franchise. So I think in order of the list of pro sports that would likely land in Austin, yeah, there's a point for me bringing this up. In order, I think it goes like this. Obviously, soccer, which is already here and doing incredibly well, other than, the product on the field should be better. It's not awful, but it should be better. The NBA, now baseball, then the NBA. And the NBA just has a new media deal, so I don't know if that makes it necessary for an NBA franchise to want to come to Austin that badly. In other words, there's so much TV and platform money coming in, if you own a team, you don't have to be quite as worried about what you do on a local level. So the upside to Austin is you can charge maximum prices for everything here and get it. The market will support it. So now that the NBA has a new media deal that's increased dramatically, it makes it an owner would be less reliant on making extra money locally. So it'd be baseball, it would be the NBA, and then it would be the NFL. The NFL will expand, and the NFL is going to expand very soon. But it's not concerned about local markets. It's worried about TV markets, not the local economy. And other sports need a vibrant local economy. The NFL doesn't. The NFL makes most of its money from platform deals. So, whether you sell tickets or not, and beer or not, or parking spaces or not, is not that big of a deal. So Austin checks every box. Yeah, sure, of course. I think there's a team right down the road in San Antonio that would want to be here in a heartbeat. But there's an issue. Austin checks every single box except the one that might matter. Taxpayers. Yeah. You won't build someone in a stadium. You won't. You won't build an arena. The Austin taxpayer won't do it. The Austin taxpayer doesn't care enough, is not connected, in my opinion, is not connected enough. What I mean by connected, here's a quick summary of Austin politically. It's, even though years ago, I'm going to do that old get off my lawn guy thing, talking about how Austin used to be, there were people connected politically in the past. Most of them lived centrally or in the South, but people were connected politically. But as Austin has sort of been, how do we say it politely? It's turned more generic. The majority population is new. The majority population hasn't been here that long. So I don't think there's just a real connection. I don't think most people even know who the mayor is. I don't think most people care. So there's no, I mean, I can make fun of Austin politics all day, but most people won't care. So there's not a connection. There's not a desperate need to say, oh my gosh, we need a team. My city needs a team, because most people, it's not their city. They just got here. So there's not a political connection that would inspire you to really fork over money, taxpayer money. And I know people love to say this. What local politicians like to say around the country when they're telling you to build someone a stadium, they'll say, don't worry about it. It's not really you. It's a hotel motel tax or something like that, which I think is, frankly, I think it's taxation without representation. But that's another matter. So it's still not going to sell. It's just people aren't that connected. I don't think people care one way or another if a pro franchise comes. It's just the economic reality of Austin supports it. So, I don't think you're going to build a stadium. I don't think you're going to build an arena. You don't need to. That's issue number one. Nobody needs to, by the way. It's a stupid, idiotic, awful thing to do for taxpayers. It's a complete waste of your money. You get nothing in return. Anyone that falls for it is a fool. You're a fool. And a lot of cities around the country are now saying no. Austin would say no. Austin would say no because, well, you don't care. Number two, you don't need it. You don't feel it. And number three, I think most people know it's kind of a stupid idea. It's not like you're dying for some sort of support of the tax base, which a stadium is not going to do. Does that kill the deal? I don't know. It might. Why am I bringing this up? Because now it is increasingly becoming newsworthy. Major League Baseball is looking to expand. Wants to go from 30 to 32. Whenever anyone hears about any franchise in pro sports relocating or expansion, automatically Austin is on a list. It was, 2 years ago, the Buffalo Bills, the ownership group floated the idea of coming to Austin. Then the fools there turned around and built them a $1 billion stadium. So whenever it comes up, Austin is near the top of the list just because most of the country knows it's a vibrant place. In spite of what the governor would tell you about the city, it is a vibrant economic hotbed. The economy here is as good as anywhere. So yeah, it's going to happen. Yes, Austin is on a list. Apparently, so is Charlotte, so is Montreal, so is Nashville. Montreal, really? That's worked so well in the past. Salt Lake City, Portland, and Vancouver. That's apparently what the lists are. Now, if you just took that list, I wouldn't do that if I were Major League Baseball. I would probably look at Monterey or somewhere like that. But that's what's reported now. And if that's the list, then Austin's going to be near the top. And then you're going to get to this issue, and it's going to have to fast track it. Where are you going to build a stadium? This is a $3 billion venture. Okay? So you're going to have probably a $1 billion stadium, I guess. That looks like the going rate. And then you're going to have to ask yourself where you're going to build it. And if you start by pitching in Austin, then the rich people have to build it, or they're going to have to find a suburban area where the taxpayer approves it. That's it. Okay? Usually the rich people that want to own franchises, and you can't blame them for this, they know that if they could reduce their risk and find dumb enough taxpayers to build the wealthy person a stadium, they'll do it. That's where they'll start. And any one of us would do the same. If I can minimize my risk and you take on all the risk, I'm going to do it every single time. So, how this thing starts to get floated and how this is tested, I don't know how we're going to figure out. I don't know where the questions are going to start. I can answer for them. The city of Austin will say no to a stadium. Taxpayers won't do it. I don't know what to say about Williamson County or Hayes County or Bastrop. I don't know. Maybe. But if you start in Austin thinking, man, I want to be closer to downtown, that'll be cool. I'm going to do what all other big cities do. That's build a stadium near downtown. I want to be cool. That'll be perfect. Yes, you'll hit a home run. Yes, you will sell tickets. Yes, you'll sell booze. Yes, you'll sell expensive nachos and parking and all that. Yes, you will maximize the value if you're closer to downtown. I don't think they're going to build a stadium for you. It's come up in the news, and I don't think it's going away anytime soon. This is from, I believe this is KXAN the last couple of days talking about a franchise coming to Austin.
Should Austin have a Major League Baseball team? The men behind the newly created Austin Baseball Commission think so.
But as KXAN's Grace Reeder explains, they're also not backing down from talking about how massive an undertaking that would be.
Within just a few minutes of meeting Carlos Valdez,
I love baseball.
You can tell he's a big sports guy, but before he tells you about his athletic achievements, which he will,
Fight as an amateur boxer.
He'll tell you baseball runs in his family.
Now my granddaughter is playing.
Which brings us to these two guys. One, an Austin tech salesman. The other, a political figure. They just created an Austin Baseball Commission, which in short, aims to put Austin on the short list of cities the MLB should select if it does indeed expand to 32 teams. And they didn't back down in talking about how massive an undertaking it would be.
Look, this endeavor is complicated. There's a lot of elements to it. There's the financial element, which is significant. It's $3 or $4 billion enterprise. There's the need to have a suitable site for the stadium.
Austin wouldn't be the only city vying for a bid either. Nashville, Salt Lake City, Charlotte among that list.
Nashville has a similar TV market to Austin. I think they've got a lot of fan interest. I think their bid's going to be solid. Charlotte as well, but the minor leagues have always been so active in the Carolinas. I think Major League Baseball would be hesitant.
While waiting for the MLB to announce what the expansion process could look like, the Austin Baseball Commission would like to achieve the following. Prove Austinites are excited and interested in a team. Identify possible sites for a ballpark. Recruit local investors and get the backing of state and local government.
We want to be in a substantially more advanced position in all of those areas by the end of this year.
You can express your interest online. We have a link to it over at KXAN.com. Grace Reeder, KXAN News.
And we did reach out to the Austin Sports Commission to get their take. That commission works under Visit Austin and is responsible for bringing major events like Formula One and Dell Match Play to Austin. The executive director said they always want Austin to be in the mix, but that it would be a very difficult process, adding, quote, "We are very fortunate to have Ryan Sanders Baseball and the Nolan Ryan family here to help guide any effort in Central Texas, as they have held ownership and executive roles with both the Texas Rangers and Houston Astros and understand the process better than anyone."
And going in depth right now, Texas teams have taken the retractable roof.
So, yeah, I mean, here's the response you're going to get back from Austin. Okay, I don't know how big your sample size is going to be. If you want to find that, you're going to get meh, huh? Okay, whatever. Yeah, it's a weird way to measure. Now, if you build it and it's a cool night out, you know, that's what Austin FC has been able to pull off. Perfect location. They got cheap land. They got it right in the middle of a tech hub, right in the middle of a bunch of people getting off a train. It's good planning. It's well laid out, and it's only 20,000 people. So the idea of you building a giant stadium is probably not going to fly. But if you're polling Austin, I think the answer is going to be meh. There's stuff to do. People aren't that connected, but. You know, so if that's going to be the answer, I'm not sure you're going to get the positive answer back that you might get in some other markets. Now, if it's got good cocktails and it's a comfortable night out, yeah, you can take somebody who would normally spend money elsewhere and get them to spend money there. I think that's true. And then you're going to have to talk about local ownership. It's not like the NFL where the price tag is, you know, $6, $8, $10 billion to get in the business. Yeah, there's plenty of rich people around. There's probably plenty of rich egomaniacs who want to get involved. So, yeah, I could see it. I could see it happening. I could. I think it's probably a preference for Major League Baseball. I do. I think the real mystery is this suburban or is it urban? I find it hard to believe it can be urban. I don't think you'll do it. I don't think you'll fork over a single dollar tax-wise, or even, you know, the idea that always works, and people love to hear this stuff. You don't have to pay for it. The people renting cars and hotel rooms will have to pay for it. I think it's an asinine concept, and I don't think people should go for that. But you might. And then again, there may be enough money where somebody says, oh, you know, a $4 billion enterprise is pretty risky in the baseball world. I think it's pretty risky. I'd be shocked if this were in Austin, if it happens. And I do think Major League Baseball wants to expand. I do. So now, I'm not going to be shocked if there's an NBA team here either. And then I think a few years down the road, I think there will be an NFL team here. I mean, remember the Chiefs, we've joked about this a few times. The Chiefs, to those taxpayers' credit, they said, no, man, we're not building that multi-billionaire a new stadium. And so they voted it down. And I do think I do think the area is an option for an NFL team. I just don't know when that happens. There's not a move to make that happen quickly. The NFL's not doesn't need to have anybody move too quickly. I don't think the Chiefs, I think sooner or later, the corrupt government there, like most corrupt governments around this country, is going to find a way to force feed that tax thing. And I think they end up staying there. But I do think one day you're going to have another NFL team nearby. I do. And Jerry Jones is not going to stop it, and I don't think he'll be around to stop it. First stop would be baseball. I think it happens. I do. It seems pretty sensible, seems doable. The question is, are you going to be driving, are you going to be in Williamson County going to a game and the taxpayers there built it? Or are you going to be traveling to a stadium in Austin, where you put it, I have no idea. Good luck with that. In Austin, and that's totally financed by a couple of rich people.